Woo, 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 you know it.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know.
I like to sing with the radio. I like to play it real loud. I like to drive with the top down, rolling like thunder, always drawing a crowd. Every babe's gonna want a piece of me, yeah. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes, I see desire in their lies, in their lies. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna drink some beer tonight, yeah. I'm gonna get some girls I like. I'm gonna wear my pants real tight. All the girls are gonna treat me just right. They don't think I see them stare at me, no. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes, I see desire in their lies, in their lies.
I like to sing with the radio. God knows I could be a rock star. I'm sure all you girls want to know how you could meet me. Oh, you know who you are. I feel your eyes so locked on me. I like to sing with the radio. I like to play it real loud. I like to drive with the top down, rolling like thunder, always drawing a crowd. Every babe's gonna want a piece of me, yeah. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes, I see desire in their lies, in their lies.
Being gay can be bloody brilliant.
How
This for everyone that lost a nigga. Swag. The other day, my nigga went to work. He said he picked up a
Here come the kings, Luke and Bacha. Woo, 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 you know it.
Oh,
gonna want a piece of me, yeah. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes, I see desire in their
drink some beer tonight, yeah. I'm gonna get some girls I like. I'm gonna wear my pants real tight. All the girls are gonna treat me just right. They don't think I see them stare at me, no. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see. Sing with the radio, God knows I could be a rock star. I'm sure all you girls want to know how you could meet me. Oh, you know who you are. I feel your eyes so locked on me. I like to sing with the radio, I like to play it real loud. I like to drive with the top down, rolling like thunder, always drawing a crowd. Every babe's gonna want a piece of me, yeah. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes, I see desire in their
Tables on his buddy Cena. Up next, two friends. Tables on his buddy Cena.
Woo, 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 you know it.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know.
I like to sing with the radio, I like to play it real loud. I like to drive with the top down, rolling like thunder, always drawing a crowd. Every babe's gonna want a piece of me, yeah. I stare into the mirror, I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes.
wear my pants real tight. All the girls are gonna treat me just right. They don't think I see them stare at me, no. I stare into the mirror. I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes. I see desire in their lies. In their lies.
I like to sing with the radio. God knows I could be a rock star. I'm sure all you girls want to know how you could meet me. Oh, you know who you are. I feel your eyes so locked on me. I like to sing with the radio. I like to play it real loud. I like to drive with the top down, rolling like thunder, always drawing a crowd. Every babe's gonna want a piece of me, yeah. I stare into the mirror. I like the things I see.
Oh, radio, tell me everything you know. I will believe your every word, just tell me so. I see the look in their eyes. I see desire in their lies. In their lies.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy, hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. 5 pounds of courage, bloody base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step. A raw stance is a gift, and you insist it's my rep. John Cena trademark, y'all are so-so. And talk about the bread you make, but don't know the recipe for dodo. Aiming guns in all your photos, that's a no-no. When this pop, your lip lock, your big socks are blatant no-so. See what happens when the ice age melt. You see, monetary status is not what matters, but it helps. I rock a timepiece by Benny, if any. The same reason y'all could love me is the same reason y'all could.
Alright, I think that's enough waiting. Let's get this started. Ladies and gentlemen, broskies and broskets, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Long Island Iced Swift. I'm your host, yours truly, Swift Rider. Now, normally the theme would play, but the bot just broke as I was playing the Big Show's theme. It's an L on my part, but that's okay. Anyways, now tonight I spent a long time thinking, what could possibly top off our first ever live stream for episode 11? I figured it out. Please welcome my guest tonight, the chairman of the most successful federation of his era, named RCW the Alpha of Pro Wrestling, Kid Jericho. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor. I've seen what your podcast is all about, so I figured, gotta get involved somehow, right?
Thank you, man. It means a lot. I've actually wanted you to be on the show for a long time, but I never figured out how to ask you any questions.
For sure. Sometimes it's difficult, right? For sure.
Yeah, how you been?
I've been good. The last few weeks or so have just been it's been part stressful and whatnot, but it's been rewarding. It's been stressful but rewarding.
Right. Yeah. Such is life, man. Such is life.
Mhm.
If you haven't already, join RCW Roblox Championship Wrestling, owned by this very man. I'll put the link in the description. Let's get started, alright? Alright, so to start off the podcast, I should have done this last time, but I had forgotten. So to kick off this podcast, I'd like you to give a review on your career so far. With your federation, with your singles career, anything. Talk to me, come on.
Okay, that's a good way to open it up. As far as my federation goes, I mean, I'd really just say mostly I just got a couple goals left of things that need to get done, both within my federation and around pro wrestling. There's a couple things that we still need to change that we can better as a community, as a group, as pro wrestlers as a whole. I feel like there is nowhere to go but up, because the past has not held the best results for us, and it's not been the most entertaining thing in the world. So in my mind, there's nowhere to go but up. So here is hoping that the future up withholds with that all well. As far as my career goes, it's sort of the same way. I mean, there's no real going down in your careers there. I mean, once you've won top-level world titles, that's pretty much it right there. People still regard you as one of the top, even if you are rusty as hell or not that good to begin with. So, I don't know. I'm just trying to go on what I may call, and this isn't meant to be one of those typical I'm going to retire after this, but I'm looking to go on what is probably going to be my last active run as a pro wrestler in this summer. So
I remember you pardon me. I remember you won a world title in RWWE made by Brutal Demon. Do you have any hopes of it coming back and continuing your reign of dominance, or nah?
I'm sort of indifferent in a way, but not indifferent in the sense that I don't care. I'm indifferent that they sort of the goods weigh out the bads there. I mean, right. I would feel really bad for Damon should he choose to pick up on that, because it's going to be very difficult to come back from what currently a 10-month hiatus. All the reigns are now essentially 10 months long at minimum, and I believe mine would be 14 months at this moment, because it was between 4 or 5 when the Fed went out. And it's been since, okay, no, never mind. I guess I'm tallying it up wrong. It was beginning of April, so it was beginning of April 2017. So I don't know. The reigns would be a bit messed up, but if he's willing to work past that and pretty much acknowledge that there isn't much of a longest reign that anyone could have, I think it'd be cool. I think it would certainly be cool. I'd like to see what RWE could offer, but finding time slots would be ridiculous.
That's true. We've got a lot of time slots overrun by RCW, APRW, RPW. Pretty much every single Fed has chosen a day of the week. Especially with RCW doing 4 shows a week now, with Takedown Live, Monday Night Nitro, Friday Night Thunder, and Sunday... Was it Sunday morning Outbreak or Sunday afternoon?
I think we go Sunday afternoon, but sometimes we end up referring it to as night. It's hard to label something unless it's a definitive night show. But since it's an EST company, we typically go Sunday afternoon, but sometimes it's referred to as Sunday Night Outbreak because it is hosted by a GMT guy. And by then, it's basically late evening, early night.
Yeah, I'm glad it's GMT friendly because we got a lot of GMT superstars heading over to Outbreak and dominating over there.
For sure, I think it's fantastic that it is so that is so GMT accessible, especially in a time where, and this isn't to knock any federation that's going on right now, because I think DXW is putting on some of the best work of its existence. I think VDW has gone nowhere but up. It has been better and better since the very first day it came out, and it wowed the world. And now I think it's just doing good for itself. It's trying to re-secure itself into new time slots, but it is doing good for itself in that regard. NGKW is putting out some unique content with their women's action and whatnot, and their mixed with men's competition as well.
The new generation, the new generation is doing so well, and I'm proud that people things like Outbreak, NGKW, all that type of stuff is leading it, and that seems pretty cool to me. For sure.
That's the thing though with it, and many people don't necessarily. Many people, including GMT stars themselves, don't necessarily believe in the new GMT, or they don't believe in the new this, that, the other thing. They think the old stuff's better. But people need to realize, in my opinion, that the number one person within your own confines that decides if something is worth it is you, is your own person, whoever you are in wrestling. And it sounds like a cheesy inspirational quote that you'd hang up in your office to convince yourself that you don't live a depressing life, that you're just going to an office every day for 8 hours a day kind of thing. You put an inspirational poster right on the wall. It sounds like one of those, but it's a real thing, you know what I mean? Like, people have the decision here to make things worth something, to make things not worth something, to add value in their own way. And I think people undermine that sometimes by just liking being told what's what.
Right, yeah, exactly. Jesus.
That was a very nice mic echo.
No, my little brother just came into the room and asked me to move him to the channel so he can listen, and as soon as I did, I heard my own voice echoing there. My voice sounds that good. Holy cow. Alright. Is that all? Not to burst my own bubble, but I mean, come on, my voice is like from the gods. Come on.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You heard it here. He said it himself, right?
Huh?
He said it himself. I mean, for sure, right?
Alright. So, I've got one from Evolved RDN here. Okay. He has a question for you. What are your top 5 feds, both GMT and EST combined, in Pro Wrestling?
I'm gonna that aren't my own.
That aren't your. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I could just give you like an A-grade cop-out answer and just say, hey, the 5 feds in the RW. That'd be a really shitty answer to give, though. I don't know. It's the thing. Every fed offers something different, and of all time or currently.
In your opinion, like, well, give an overview on both.
That's something. I mean, I just love most federations. I do like most federations that they offer something different, because not many federations that get big do appease to the same market. And I think we've really moved away from the old days where every single federation was just trying to appease to this, that, and the other thing. Like, each fed has an area of excellence. NGKW's got its women's stuff, and so does APRW have its women's division. We have a developmental territory along with brands. VDW and DXW are doing their best to appease to a GMT market, like a GMT men's market. DWF is helping, really bring up those talent that are less heard of, in a sense. No offense to anyone's there, of course, but, the less recognized, the less acknowledged talent that still exists, it just doesn't find their stride as well in the main thing. So everyone offers something different, but if I had to say 5 that I like, I've always had good experiences going with APRW. I liked that. That was
APRW, yeah, good choice.
Yeah, I've always liked going to APRW completely regardless of any situations that arise, which there's been in the past, but to keep it strictly to Pro Wrestling, I think I've always had positive experiences there. As weird as it seems, for a fed that I've always had lingering beef with, I always liked going to the old RWE. It was frustrating at times, and it was very unorganized, and if it was the leading figure in Pro Wrestling, I would be worried for Pro Wrestling, because that was a shit show that did not need to lead the pack in Pro Wrestling. But I always had fun being there. I don't know if it was the people or the product, probably the people, but maybe the product. But regardless, that was always fun. I always liked going to RWU, even though I only went for like the later portion of it.
Right.
I wish I could have honestly got more involved. That was something I really did enjoy. That's 3 right there. Trying to think of 2 more that I've enjoyed. I've had nothing but positive experiences from every Fed that I've done this summer at Jericho, at RPW, DWF, VDW, DXW.
It's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Well, yeah, it's a good sign that federations these days are overall improving on average. Would it be cheating to say Outbreak? Because that's not really a Fed, but it is like a separate entity that I do not myself run. Because a lot of people will think, oh, Tams is just like a kayfabe GM, but he's actually not much of a kayfabe GM. He decides, he makes the calls on who goes where, who's pushed for what stables. Like, yeah, people will pitch him ideas, but he's the one that, you know, greenlights them. Like, I had to pitch the New Frontier myself to him. I didn't just say, hey, the New Frontier's a thing now, Tams, work with it. No, I said, hey, I'd like to start a stable. I'd like to pursue this beef with Cole and turn it into a feud. I'd like to pick these 3 members. I think we even discussed which members I was allowed to have for the New Frontier, and those are the 3. I think he pretty much greenlighted all the members, though, because he wasn't really doing much with the 3 at the time.
Right.
If it's not cheating, I'd like to say Outbreak, because it gives you that UKW vibe, but a really condensed UKW vibe.
It really does, and I love it. I love it personally.
Mm-hmm. Because it gives you a really good condensed storyline feel where he really does do his best to try to make sure everyone has a purpose. Like, I've had main rosters tell me that they enjoy being there, because they don't even get involved. They just enjoy watching it. It's fun. It's got a serious aspect where there is like serious storylines to it, but it also has a goofy aspect where there's fun stuff to watch. There's, just stuff that's purely humor driven and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And if I had to pick a last one, if I had to pick a last one, I don't know. I always liked, of course, I liked both ORW and VCW, but if I had to say my overall accepted favorites, I liked XEW by Rudy and whatnot. I always liked being there. As weird as it seems, Rudy once owned a Fed, XEW.
XEW?
Yeah, XEW.
Okay.
I usually had fun being there. Now, that's mostly because I pretty much from the first 8 days that I was there, I was champion in there, and that kind of did a thing or two. But I always had fun being there because it was never too long or anything like that, and it always felt very small scale. But like it just felt like you were Raw Wrestling to Raw Wrestle. I don't know. I'd say those are the 5 that I like.
So we got APRW, we got Outbreak, which really isn't a Fed, but I mean, it's an exception. We got XEW. What were the other 2 again?
XEW, Outbreak. I liked going to RWU, although
okay.
It's unfair for me to say an experience on that because I very, very scarcely went, but I just always liked watching the product at the time. So Outbreak, XEW, RWU, old RWE, and APRW.
Okay.
I think those are going to be among my favorite.
Good 5 choices. Okay, so we've got a question here from Snakebite. What are your top 5 Uprising tag teams in GMT and EST combined?
Top 5 it's hard to say Uprising tag teams versus currently. I mean, the problem is if you ask me that question, you're going to get a lot of answers from
Outbreak.
Well, A from Outbreak, but also B from the main roster and RCW as a whole. It's going to be hard for me to say a general landscape thing. Like, I couldn't tell you what tag teams are popular in each federation. So if I had to say my 5 favorite up-and-coming tag teams, I'm sorry if these aren't up-and-coming, but, I mean, given that Adapted Snakebite's asking, he's going to ask, he probably wants me to say Soda Money, I guarantee.
That's why I was reluctant to ask the question.
Yeah, 5. Dream Team's been cool. I don't know if it necessarily fits my 5 yet. I want to see what they do going into Title Night. I've seen some decent stuff out of Soda Money. That's been a little more consistent and a little more long-term. Because I know the Dream Team is relatively novel. I've liked the stuff that the Young Goats have put forward. But
Young Goats,
again,
I like them.
Yeah, the Young Goats were interesting. I don't know if they necessarily go forward because again, new. If I could still say them and count them as an uprising team, I like the De Niro Dynasty a lot. I don't think anyone had any doubt that I liked them, considering I put them on the poster along with Raheem. But I felt like that was a fitting move. But I love the De Niro Dynasty stuff. That stuff's been fantastic. I like the humorous dynamic that the Sped Force bring, which is Brooke and Ken. I like that.
Sped Force.
I know it's good. It really keys into that. I like that. It's been fantastic. I like Protocol 484. That's Vicious Django and Falco 484. They're like best friends, former tag champions together. So they finally slapped a name on their team, and now they're going for like one final tag run. And I gotta say, like, I think it's fantastic.
It's got a huge story behind it, and I love stories. So like, yeah.
That's the stuff. Yeah, that truly is the stuff that I like to see. Is like when you can watch something and there's a bit of an understood story. There's a bit of an understood story behind it that it makes it just so entertaining to watch.
Look, as long as they can pull up a couple of wins to make their story look legitimate, then like I actually think that they would be.
Well, yeah, obviously, that's one thing that sucks about pro wrestling. I think some people have gotten lost in that, and sometimes is that they think, oh, well, the story should be what drives everything forward. But if they're not good enough to deliver the story, then it's really hard to make people care about the story. Because if you're trying to build up a team as the up-and-coming guy, the new face of the company, and he can't get any wins together, it's really hard to build him into that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that really just comes back to a lot of people say, like, oh, why are you always pushing Eddie Damon and CM Punk and stuff like that? Well, when was the last time you saw them not be able to deliver? I mean, even losing, Eddie Damon and CM Punk all still perform well. They always come close. I can't remember the last time any of those three was in a definitive squash. That's just me. I cannot recall a time where they were in a definitive squash in recent history. So it's easy to rely on them for these stories.
That's true.
And when there's someone you can rely on to A, build a good story, and B, deliver in the ring, then I see no reason not to invest in him. Anthony Myers is and still, showing that off. He's got fantastic story ability. He's good at making entertaining product, and he's shown that he can deliver in the ring with his fantastic match with Rudy Balor at Backlash. That's why I entrusted it being the co-main event, because I had faith that could be something.
That is true. It was a good match.
So the same with the tag team. Protocol 484 has been delivering with their matches for sure. They won like a 4-way tag match just last Thunder with tag champions included and the current tag N1Cs. And we're planning to have a tag N2C to make a triple threat tag for the belt at Money in the Bank. Because I think our tag division just can't handle it. I think it's fantastic. I haven't seen enough out of the NWO tag team, but I hear that they're good. I have only seen one match with them as a tag team, and they won and they did well. But I haven't seen enough of them, so I might go with the, if I had to go with 5 teams, De Niro Dynasty, Protocol 484, Sped Force, and the 2 contenders for the Outbreak Tag title, Dream Team and Soda Money. And I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, because there's so many good tag teams these days.
There are.
And that's only really counting the up-and-coming, not like the Galloways or Brutal Jackson or Malkoffs, like up-and-coming recently is what I mean by that.
Yeah, right. There are a lot of good tag teams, and as the owner of a federation with over 3,000 people, it is hard to memorize each and every single one of tag teams. So I commend you for that.
For sure. Right.
Yeah, man. All right, so here's a question from a guy named Noah Rudningen. I don't know how to say his last name. This is actually a good one. If you weren't doing a Jericho gimmick, what gimmick would you do?
What gimmick would you do? God, it sounds like such a New Japan mark move, and like someone who just watched. And I'm willing to admit, like I've only been even semi-actively watching New Japan since Wrestle Kingdom 11, so I'm by no means a long-time fan like some people were pre that. But one of the gimmicks I think I would like to do, if I wasn't doing Jericho, would have to be like some form of. I'd love to do an Omega gimmick, as weird as that seems. I don't know that I'd be the fitting person for it, because there's obviously, there's a high caliber to that, as there is with anything. If you do a high caliber gimmick, you got to fit that high caliber mentality. You can't have a Brock Lesnar be held by, like a jobber. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if you're Brock Lesnar, you got to be delivering. You got to be connecting. You gotta have that high profile feel, like Norps did, like Norps Lesnar and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Former, UKW champion, high profile athlete with CCW, pro athlete. God, I just said athlete. High profile superstar within CCW. Like, it's got that high feel. You know what I mean? So if you take a high level gimmick, you got to deliver high feel.
That's true. So there's a reason why I'm a writer, because I don't want people to have high expectations for me and then I like just completely drop dead meat.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. Like, that's what I try to do is when someone low tier wants Lesnar's, you usually want to find a gimmick that sort of suits. Like with Rudy doing Balor, like I can't think of anyone that really does Balor better than that. Like OMG's got some good stuff, and Alonzo had some good stuff, but I don't know that there's anyone who really fit that high caliber feel of a Balor that Rudy did and does, with his high profile entrances, his really good in ring talent. It's like he suits it. And
Ospreay was nice. Ospreay was nice.
Yeah, I like the little swap. I mean, I didn't really love the Ospreay stuff. His Tron was fantastic, and I respect him for trying something different. It's just I don't feel like it clicked the same way. But everyone has their own opinion. Some people probably love Ospreay way more than Balor, so everyone's got an opinion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. So, what gimmick would you do though?
Oh, shoot! I feel like I answered that and then went full circle and then kind of ignored the answer. If I could, I would want to do an Omega, but
Omega.
I feel I would want to try, but that'd be a difficult gimmick to keep up with.
At Rabbit Omega Man X. Huh.
And if that didn't come to pass, then probably I guess I have a thing about doing gimmicks by people that have Rabbit in their name, but I'd like to do an Angle gimmick, to be honest. If the Omega one didn't really work as well, I'd like to do an Angle gimmick, just something that you can really throw in a bit of humor with.
Wait, was it Angle or Omega?
Angle or Omega? What do you mean?
I heard Omega, but now you're talking about Angle. Did I mishear it or?
No, if I said, well, I would like to do an Omega one, but if then maybe an Angle one. Like if I had two sort of iffy preferences where I could go between, and if I couldn't decide, then I'd probably say either Angle or Omega.
Oh, okay, because my headphones were cutting out. I kept thinking, oh wait, he's talking about Omega, and then I hear Angle. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, his headphones glitch so bad that anytime the word Angle is present, it turns right into Omega.
Did you just say Omega? No, I'm just playing. Alright, so here's one from Hand Show. He wants to know, what made you think of the name KIDZROCK4?
If I'm being 100% honest, I'm not entirely certain. This is a name that's spanned back to like 2000. I'd say as early as 2008, because obviously my Roblox name spanned 2009. I'm not one of those guys that says, "Oh well, I've been on this account's 2009, but like I have an account back in 2006." And I was even on Roblox back in like 2001 and stuff. And yeah, I was pretty much there. I was there with Builderman in his dorm room when he was planning out. No, none of that. No, I had a RuneScape account.
For a second, I thought you were being for real. I was like, wait a second.
No. I'm just saying like the stories that people say. Some people are just everyone's got some older account. It always is the case. I never understood it. I have my Roblox join date is August 30th, 2009, and that is when I started playing. There's no deception to that. You can go back and check the join date on that. It's August 30th, 2009. I'm not gonna say I had an account any earlier than that because I didn't. But I had an account on RuneScape, and that was what I called it KIDZROCK4. I don't know why I switched from 2 to 4. If I'm being 100% honest, back in those days, I usually just picked random numbers and went with them. And yeah, so I just pick a random number, throw it at the end of it, and then say, "Yep, that's my username right there." So, and yeah.
Speaking of names, if not for KIDZROCK4, what would your name be? What do you think you would have gone with?
If I didn't have this exact username, I'd probably go with KIDZROCK4 capital at the very beginning. That's pretty much it. No, if I had to trying to think, if I had to change my name, oh god, I have never even thought about changing my name. Like there's been no point where
Swift with the good questions.
Oh god, yeah, he's stumped me live on broadcast. He's actually stumped. I actually don't No, I don't. I really don't know. I don't want to say a cop on it. It's like, oh, I wouldn't change my name. It means so much to me, but I sincerely would never change my name. As weird as it seems, if not for that. God, I don't even know what other usernames I use. I always just go with the KIDZROCK4.
So you wouldn't change it? You wouldn't change the name?
I wouldn't. I'm being 100%. It has never once crossed my mind, sincerely, to ever change my name on Roblox. Like, it has always just been this, and I've always wanted it to be this. I would not change it if given the opportunity.
Right, and I get that, because, like, some person, he chooses a name that he really, really likes, and he just sticks with it. And then finally comes the day, because there will be a day soon in everyone who wants to, like, change their name. If not, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's completely normal. But yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? No offense. I'm not trying to do any offense to you or anything like that.
Oh, no, I get that. No, I get that. Pretty much everyone has always changed his name at one point. Damon changed his name. Like, Pretty changed his name, and that was a pretty recognizable name for him. Even some people still call him Pretty, not necessarily Noah, but
Roblox.
Everyone's changed their name at some point. And I don't blame people who have changed it. No fault in that. I see 100% why some people change it. I mean, if you've seen some of their old shit names, yeah, I don't blame y'all for changing your name. I'm 100% honest with you. But I don't even know. I know my name isn't the most attractive thing in the world, KIDZROCK4, but I just don't see a point in changing it now.
It sticks though, so like, there's nothing wrong with it. It sticks, so it's all good.
Yeah, as far as I can tell. I mean, hold on. Let me just, I guess for a cop-out answer, let's check if KIDZROCK is available. I could not imagine it would be.
KIDZROCK.
Taken. Yeah, no, it was taken back in like 2008. That's probably what made me force to put a number after.
Oh, I'm the 4th KIDZROCK. My father before me was KIDZROCK3.
I actually have the KIDZROCK2 account. I don't know what the password to, but I have the KIDZROCK2 account.
Wow.
I don't know what happened to KIDZROCK3.
How much you want to bet there's 20? Okay, how much you want to bet there's going to be at least one person of the 26 people watching right now to search up KIDZROCK2, if they're not already?
I mean, you could if you want. It's there's nothing really significant about it. It just is there. It exists. So.
True. Yeah.
There was an account called KIDZROCK4, but with an S instead of a Z. And yeah, he's like a trader now and whatnot. Like he trades a lot and he trades for limiteds and whatnot. And his name right now is like Soulites. We met once purely by accident. I actually have no idea how that happened, or like I never intended to.
Like you were trying to scam a limited off of him, and I'm just playing now.
Yeah, I was trying to scam the guy. I went up to him, and says, give me limiteds, and we share a name. Share a name, share a limited. I don't know. Good policy. I like it. I'd like to put that policy out there right now. We share a community, so share a limited. Give me a whole bunch of limiteds and stuff. That'd be cool, guys. Thanks.
Business ideas.
Business ideas. How to get my limiteds.
All right.
Get money somehow.
God damn it. All right. Sorry. We've got one from Jojo Parker, Pandex here. What's your favorite thing about hosting Roblox Championship Wrestling RCW?
It's my favorite thing when it's over. I like that part. It's cool. I like that part. It's cool. I don't know. There's so many different things that make up for it. I like having the influence that we're making a change in the community, both as the RWA and as RCW. I like the idea that we're changing the community for the better each and every day that we do something. Within the Fed, I like those moments where it's really worked for a belt and it finally clicks for them. You know what I mean? Like there's not much more rewarding feeling than seeing someone who like watching Jack Summers win the open weight belt was extremely rewarding because he had tried for a while to do something to finally get some form of success, and then he succeeds, and it's just fantastic. Moments like those are worth it, and getting involved in your own product, not necessarily involved in the sense that I wrestle, but like being an active fan of your own stuff is fantastic. Like truly liking what you're putting out is very important. Like if you don't like what you're putting out, then what's to say anyone else is going to like what you're putting out? You know what I mean? If you can't even get invested in your own product and say, yep, this is good, I like this part, then it's very hard to say anyone else ever would.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And I get that though. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, moving on, speaking of the fan of your own product, so we all know that you're the chairman of RCW, but as we can see in your developmental brand, which is now ran by Tamskin, you are facing one of your own superstars in your own Fed, named the prize fighter Cole Owens, who is currently bad-mouthing you in the live chat down below, by the way. What I want to know is this a permanent type thing, or just a hit and run?
Like me wrestling in my own product?
Right.
It's more of an on and off thing. Many people should, and I definitely feel like at some point it's surpassed doing it. But Cole and I have wanted to do this feud for a good while, and we feel like there's, I don't know, I feel like with the reaction we get from the Outbreak audience, the energy we get from it, with the New Frontier, with Cole Owens, with Thames managing him and whatnot, me managing the New Frontier, just the lead up to this match has been fantastic. And a lot of people have also called out the predetermined finish of things, obviously with the idea of putting someone over. Cole and I have both agreed that that will not be the case, and I'm willing to admit now that obviously there's been matches I've had in RCW where the sole purpose was putting someone over with momentum. Maybe we've done that too often, but I can 100% assure you that when you watch Outbreak Title Night, you watch that match, there'll be nothing predetermined about it. If I have to 3-0 him, I will 3-0 him. If I have to 3-1 him, I'll 3-1 him. If I have to 3-2 him, I'll 3-2 him. And I can't imagine any other circumstance happening. So,
dang.
I guess if he gets lucky and wins or something like that, then I guess that's what happens. But if I gotta sweep him, I'll sweep him. If he's not good enough to prove himself, if he is not good enough to prove himself as a superstar who can beat me, then I see no reason that he would deserve a win. That's just me. But is it going to be a permanent thing? I'd say if and when it's needed. If I'm going to try to reserve it, because I didn't book myself for a bank match. I don't intend to book myself for a King of the Ring match. I guess if there's the right time and place, maybe SummerSlam, but right time, right place. I think I definitely need to tone it down on how many times I wrestle in my own federation. So I wouldn't say a permanent fixture, but I would say if the time and place are right, then I will wrestle a match. If that makes sense.
So it's just like you're just gonna go in there whenever you're needed, whenever like the crowd just needs Y2K, basically, right? Or not exact. Okay, yeah. Okay. So speaking of RCW, everyone in Pro Wrestling at least once in their career has thought of starting themselves a federation, but half of them never pulled through with it. What I want to know is what gave you the inspiration to start with RCW in the first place?
There's sort of two answers to it in a sense. I told this to another guy who was asking me just, I think, 2 days ago, what tips he could use to start his fed to help him out with that. What inspired me to do it? I'll give you the really shitty, honest, brutally honest, but not really flattering answer. I was very mad at a federation at that time. I was very mad at a federation called WWE because it had very corrupt management, and I don't hold these feelings out of salt. I hold these feelings out of honesty, and if there was anyone from that era left, they would have told you nothing less. I don't think anyone but her brother would have said that this was the case. It was very corrupt. It was filled with nepotism, literal nepotism, in the sense that her family got rewarded simply for being family. So it was not a good environment. So I found myself eventually kicked out of that federation. So after that, I took it upon myself to start my own fed, and eventually I ended up owning WWE. So that was pretty much the set out goal from the very first time, was nothing more than anger out of that federation. But a little more of a flattering answer, a little bit more of an actual inspirational-esque answer. I would say that it's just, I don't know, I've always wanted to do something. The very first time that I came into this community, I wanted something to move it forward, and hopefully that we're doing nothing less than that today. And maybe we've been a little slow on it in the past, but I'm hoping that pretty much from today onward, or from the past few weeks onward, that we're helping to change the community.
That's
It's
true.
cheesy and whatnot, but I think a lot of people have seen our attempts to do that, both as the RWA and as RCW.
Do you think the people who have wronged you in the past now regret their actions, now that they've seen you in, like, such a huge success in pro wrestling?
I think there's a lot of the people that quote wronged me in the past, I don't think even wrestle anymore, which is kind of sad to say, because how fun that would have been for them to watch that. There's still been a lot. There's still been a lot in these days that have wronged and, you know, have since, I guess, regretted their actions. But it's not really the end all and be all of things. I don't really mind much if people don't regret their actions for it, because what can you do, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Do some? Probably some. Will anyone admit that they do? Probably not. So, I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is. Such is life. That's true.
Fair play, fair play.
Alright, so... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What's up?
Okay, I've got another question from the world's largest pixel, Mr. Hand Show. Okay, so you know that whole situation with Muddy and his whole faking his death thing? Han wants to know, what did you think about the whole faking situation in the first place, even before he came clean?
I think if anyone, I'm so sorry for you if anyone actually believed that, like, at all, because there's, so he came into my PMs with, I can read the exact quotation.
Okay.
Hold on, I can read the exact quotation. Muddy has passed away. Save your wishes for him, and such as he enjoyed everything about you, killed himself.
Oof.
So he said that he killed himself in PMs, and then on his Twitter post he said that his quote brother, or his brother claimed in quotation marks, that he died of a heart attack. So I think if you're gonna fake suicide, the least you could do is keep it consistent. Like, really, I didn't think it was that hard, but apparently it is. I really did not think it was that difficult, but I thought it was funny as hell. I love the meme. Guy's an idiot.
I was laughing so hard whenever I saw everything on Twitter about it. Even, okay, like, you know the hashtag Rip Muddy thing? I did it just in case, like, this wasn't fake, in case, like, he actually did die, because, like, him and I are friends, but, like, if we're looking on the meme side of it, I was laughing for, oh, jeez.
Sorry about that.
It's all good, don't worry. It happens. I was laughing for hours whenever I saw the meme side of it. Don Morrison did the, here's the attention you ordered. Tams King went to a random hospital game on Roblox and he asked to see Muddy Rollins X22. He got sent to a therapist instead. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with this place? Alright, moving on. We got way too off topic there. Okay, but okay. Did you have any, like, relationship with Muddy at the time? Not like, you know what I mean, right?
Was I dating the guy Muddy?
No.
Yeah, I know. I get messing around. No, he was starting to become less of an asshole. As far as I could tell, he's been very notorious for being a general piece of shit. But he was him and I. He was in the call because I'm occasionally in a call during the show sometimes.
Right.
And he was in the call that we were in, and he was being chill. He was being positive with the reaction, and then 2 days later he fakes killing himself. So I really don't know how you can try to preach that you're getting better, you're becoming a better person, and then fake killing yourself.
I mean, I get that he wanted to, like, see if people really did, like, care for him or something like that. But that just flushed his entire reputation down the toilet.
I think at least Aiden, with his attempts to revive his reputation, at least he's not been as much of a piece of shit.
Aiden's actually cleaned up his act a lot.
I think he knows he has.
Aiden's actually cleaned up his act a lot, if we're looking at it.
For sure. I think he's still got things to work on, for sure. Nobody's perfect, but no one's expecting him to be perfect either. I think he's still got a couple things to clean up, but other than that, I think all in all, he's definitely improved, which is good news, because talent-wise, he's great. Attitude-wise, he's been very, very bad. Very shit beforehand, but hopefully that is changing now.
That's true, yeah.
Hopefully.
If all goes well.
If all goes well.
Okay, so, here's a question from Fortune. What is your opinion on the new era of pro wrestling, such as like wrestlers, federations, arena, GUIs, etc., etc., etc.?
Like a technical aspect of all new federations?
Well, everything, to be honest.
Okay. The first thing I heard was the technical aspect, so I'll go with that to start. I think honestly, like I think we're at a wonderful point where everyone sort of has a level of tech to them, a level of development to them, that it really doesn't matter. If your shit gets leaked, I don't think it really matters, to be 100% honest, because if someone steals your building, it's not you looking bad for that, it's them looking like a fucking idiot for taking, you know, an obviously recognizable building. Like if I one day said, hey, RCW Friday Night Thunder is going to happen at the DWF Arena, because I don't announce it at the DW Arena, it's a new arena, and then everyone's they see that, nobody's gonna buy into that. Nobody's
true.
gonna, and I'm gonna get a lot of shit, and I'm gonna look terrible. And then what? Like if you steal the tech, like the GUIs and the scripts and whatnot, like everyone's pretty much got the same shit these days anyway. Everyone's already got it, whether it was our choice or not. Pretty much everyone's already got it. So I couldn't imagine it really matters.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. So moving on from that, I mean, if you're done, are you done? Or...
Oh no, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. So moving on from that, we've got a question from Luke freaking Cena, the owner of WWE. The biggest question he really wants to know, XD, is Aiden allowed back in Pro Wrestling if he cleans up his act continuously?
I would see no reason why not if he act together. I would see no reason why not if he can keep his act together. I think we need to collectively agree that if he can't keep his act together, we kick him out as soon as he came back. As quick as he came back, rather, sorry. And, I don't know how better to word it. Is he back allowed in? Yes, at the moment. I imagine that he is. It was not put to a vote. I would have liked it if it was put to a vote. There's a list of reasons why it wasn't put to a vote. For the sake of not calling anybody or any feds out, I'm going to neglect to mention why he's back. But yeah, as far as I can tell, he's back. There's not much you can really do in those regards right now.
That is true.
So if he keeps his behavior, he will be fine going into wrestling. If he can't keep it together, well then I have no problem kicking him out if that's the case. I don't have a problem kicking many people out if that's the case, but I don't think anyone should be jumping to kick people out. I think we need to. Okay. I think we need to be relaxed with that.
Yeah. Name a couple of people you have in mind that you think will have a bad time staying in Pro Wrestling, attitude-wise.
Muddy and Aiden.
Muddy and Aiden. Well, I mean, Muddy is
a lot of people have said.
Muddy is already like he's gone, dude. Like
yeah, he's pretty much on the brink of no longer being accepted into Pro Wrestling. So he's already done a pretty good job for himself, pretty much getting kicked out of Pro Wrestling without us having to do a damn. He made the job easy on us. I like that.
He killed himself with a heart attack, guys.
Yeah, he killed himself with a self-induced heart attack. And Aiden is obviously at risk at any time. Not to attack him, not to call him out, not anything like that, but I think Aiden knows fair is fair. If he can't keep things together, and I'm not asking him to be perfect, but if he can't keep his act together in some way, shape, or form, then kicking him out is always another option. And I don't want it to be our option, but it is if that's what it comes to. A lot of people, there's one guy, and there's been a couple people here and there, but there's one guy that's been consistently requested to be kicked out, and it's got to be bump drafting. That's got to be the guy that we get the most requests to do something about, to kick him out of the community, I just don't. I'm not his biggest fan. Okay, I'm not. I don't love the guy.
That's for sure.
He can be a dickhead, and I see why some people think the way they do about him. There's a need. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's taking the most drastic solution, to the most minor problem. He's done things where he's made fun of people's, and that's fucked up. I don't know what goes on in his head to think that is something that we want, something that this community needs, or even that he thinks he's being some kind of edgy heel by doing it. I don't understand. I don't love the kid, and I don't respect pretty much anything he's ever done, but I don't think there's a need to kick him out. I mean, I might be one of the only people who thinks that, I guess, but I don't think there's a need to kick him out. I mean, does it seem irrational to say that? I guess it might, but like.
I mean, because like he hasn't actually done anything to hurt anyone. All he does is like say some hurtful things, and really kicking him out wouldn't do any good because he doesn't wrestle. All he does is his Federation ICW, and we can't control him on that. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, like with Aiden, he didn't have. Well, he's tried several times. But like, there's no real. I know, again, unpopular opinion city, there's no real need to kick him out. He hasn't done anything drastic enough to warrant it, really.
True. Yeah.
So,
and I get it, because he hasn't done anything wrong. He just said things wrong that aren't respectable. Until then, people... Yeah.
Yeah, he's done and said things before. I'm not denying that he has. I see a real need to kick him out of the community for it. I mean, if it so came to the point where he did something drastic, it would not be too difficult. I'm sure there's enough support. No offense. I'm sure there's plenty of support of people that would like to see that happen.
True.
But I personally don't see the need. So if it's such a time came where it was required that he was voted out of pro wrestling, I would not vote yes on that.
Right, man. Yeah.
I'm just disclosing that now. I would not support a vote for him out. I don't endorse him, but I would not support a vote out.
Yeah, like, as much as you want to, you can't, there's not really a reason.
This is one thing I worried about when Aiden got kicked out of pro wrestling, is the minute it becomes an option, people are going to try to abuse it. I think there's a saying for that, but I don't know the saying. The minute there is an ultimate power, the minute that there's some form of, next level power, people are going to try to abuse it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like our constant worries about, this is a very extreme example, and if you know me, I make a lot of extreme examples for things that really don't need to be extreme examples. But it's the sort of same thing with like nuclear weapons in a sense. The minute they were created, everyone was going to try to jump on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many times in history have we worried about them being used in conflicts that really didn't need them to be used?
Too many times, man.
And that's the thing. In the metaphorical sense, kicking someone out is like dropping that bomb. God, that's really extreme. I 100% acknowledge that is really extreme for pro wrestling and otherwise. But if you understand my metaphor, then yes, you get the point. It works.
I get it, yeah.
It's very extreme, and people have tried many times to jump on using it, even though it wasn't needed. That's just me.
Exactly. Would you say like it's kind of like beating a dead horse or not?
What do you mean?
Okay, because like beating a dead horse, meaning like abusing it, right? Or repeating.
Beating a dead horse in most senses of the term is like if you repetitively go at something. So I'd say the hate for bum drafting is very beating a dead horse. I don't know why anyone gives his hate attention. He's got hateful opinions. We know that. You're not really proving anything by saying that. We know what he's like. Everyone in pro wrestling, whether they go to ICW or not, whether they've had a conversation with him, they know the name bump drafting, and they know it's nothing positive. So I don't understand what the point is about trying to prove a point that, oh, he's such a bad guy, we should ban him, I hate this guy. He's like, but why give him attention? Why do we do that? I don't understand. It's just let him do him. I don't see a point.
Just leave him alone, I guess.
If such comes a time that we need to take care of him, but I don't think that it will.
You're right, though. You're right. All right. So if that's all, I got an incoming question from Jackson Michaels. He wants to know, how did you make your Fed successful and keep it that way? Like, kind of a drive to keep it up there.
What made it successful and kept it successful?
Yeah.
I don't know, a shit ton of determination. I think a lot of people get discouraged from Fed owning way too easily, way too soon. And they don't quite, realize that, like, it took me 2 years to hit 50-50 for the first time. Like, that's not a lie. It took over 2 years to hit 50-50 for the first time. It took months after that, even, to finally get acknowledged, as a legitimate Fed. And it took months after that to consistently hit 50. And even after we started consistently hitting 50, we still went down a little bit and then had to work our way back up. People get discouraged incredibly easy. And I don't think sure, it sounds like a cliche. Oh, consistency. Oh, always be consistent, determined, never give up on your dreams. But really, like, if you want to own a Fed and you want to make this work, giving up on it this easy is not ever going to be your option. It's never worked before.
Right. Has there ever been a moment in RCW whenever you opened up an arena and it had already gotten full before you could even get in?
Yes, there's been times, and that's why I open up my arena at 5 o'clock, and I endorse any federation that fills any federation that fills up sooner than an hour. This is at APRW particularly. Obviously, this is just a suggestion to APRW. ECW, I've seen happen before. My personal recommendation, because we're trying to help flatten out. We are trying to help flatten out time slot issues in wrestling. Please, if you fill up sooner than 1 hour before your show, please open 1 hour. Dead on. Like, if your show's at 7, open at 6. If your show's at 4:30, open at 3:30. Because I know it seems like it's trying to make your Fed smaller. It's not. It really is just, hey, like, some people, you're gonna lose your interest, and you're gonna lose your interest in hosting if you gotta host 2 hours before your show, and you've already been hosting 2 hours, and you're already bored. And my personal recommendation really is just open at that time.
You're right.
Open 1 hour before. So, yes, it's happened to me before I've been locked out of my own arena. And I would highly recommend that anyone that is the circumstance, please, do that. To open up your arena at that time.
Were you surprised? Okay, so were you surprised whenever RCW grew that much, though?
No, but in a less egotistical way. The growth of RCW was at times incredibly slow, and to some people it seems incredibly fast. To me, it was not very incredibly fast. So I don't really think that it was overwhelmingly surprising to me, because it had worked up so slowly that it eventually came to me that it almost became natural. I've had that, this isn't supposed to be how big a Fed is, and you can't take this for granted. Like, not many Feds are supposed to be this big, where you fill this quick and you have this many people and this, that, and the other thing. That sounds like just tooting your own ego, but at times you just got to remind yourself, like, don't take that shit for granted, because when it's gone, you realize it. And I've seen many Feds fall into that loop. So I hope for better than that. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a question from myself here, because I kind of want to know. If something were to go wrong with RCW, like extremely wrong, like something happens, it got hacked or something, would you continue doing it? Would you create a new federation, or what would happen?
If something went wrong, what do you mean?
Like, if something went wrong, as in, like, say Rogan came back and hacked RCW, right?
I guess it depends on the circumstance. It is hard to say. Would I continue it? Very likely. Very likely I would still continue it. But no certainties. I guess it depends when and where. Probably. I mean, I would hope that I would. But I don't know myself of the future.
Okay. Alright. Here's a question from Terry Brunk. What is your opinion on Dylan Brown, DB Tech, and who do you think are the top DB Tech guys currently?
Who do I think are the... I think DB Tech is incredibly fun. I think it's very innovative. I think it's some fantastic stuff. I think it's honestly something that has helped pro wrestling so much, and nothing but positive reviews on how that's been working. Who do I think is the top name of that? I think it's, in my opinion, and he's had some very controversial stuff about it, but if I had to say the top name in it, it's got to be among Ruthless. It's got to be one of them. That Terry guy, I don't remember his full name. Terry
Brunk, Terry Michael Brunk, TMB.
Oh, okay, so he's the one that asked the question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's among the top. I've seen him do some very, very interesting stuff with it. So, yeah, he'd be among there, wouldn't he? If I don't know, I'd say him and Ruthless. so many good names at it, but him and Ruthless got to be the top.
And like Ruthless is scary good in the ring. I've seen him fight.
In
He's
TDO
really
and takedown
good.
stuff.
Huh?
In takedown stuff.
Yeah, and takedown.
Yeah, I've wrestled him recently, and just for fun, and he messed me up something proper, like just messed me up something else. So yeah, he's as good as it seems. So I'm glad that he isn't just all hype, and it genuinely is that he is as good as it seems. That's rewarding, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Brock Lesnar type of feel. Sooner or later, though, people are gonna get bored of him, though. Sooner or later, because like this is like a type of Brock Lesnar thing. Ruthless G4NG. He's been dominant in the takedown division. Sooner or later, you know, just like Brock Lesnar, sooner or later the crowd will get bored of him and they're gonna want a new champion, but no one can beat him. So
at some point he will be defeated. At some point he will lose his streak. At some point, you know what I mean? Like
right.
Everyone, even BBLA, who went undefeated for 7 months, eventually lost at some point.
That is
so.
True.
There's no use in saying that someone will always be undefeated. There's a good chance that they will be undefeated for a long time, but there's no use in saying that they will always be undefeated, because they won't. They won't always be undefeated. There will be a time. It might not be a time soon, but there will be a time where they lose and lose their belt, and etc. Like nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever. Nothing good ever lasts. Rest in peace, RWU. I'm playing now.
Yeah, that'd be the kind of stuff. That'd be the kind of stuff some people say.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. So you've been doing a thing called the Summer of Jericho. What inspired you to get back in the ring for the summer? And is this just for the summer, or is this a permanent thing?
I'm feeling like, if I'm being as optimistic as possible, because who knows? Maybe the summer, maybe halfway through the summer, I randomly appear and never will wrestle again. Who fucking knows, right? There's no way to know what's gonna happen.
Right.
But if everything works to plan and everything goes well, I'm hoping that I can find some form of small to large success during the summer. I'm not expecting any Fed to provide that for me. Some have already provided me opportunity to prove that. I'm not expecting anyone by default to do that. If I'm able to prove it and I'm good enough to do what I say in character that I am good enough to do, then I will do exactly that. If I'm not that good, well then shit, that sucks. Hopefully during this summer I can find, you know, what do you call them? I'm hoping during this summer I can find a group of federations that work to my time and that I want to wrestle for. Because once the summer's over, I will probably become less active in some of these feds, just a fair warning, and I will probably only be wrestling the ones that work to schedule or the ones that I found interest in. I'm not meaning that in a sense like, oh, go ahead and press me, guys. If you want me to wrestle there again, no, just, you know, the feds that I like going to will maybe be what I do, and maybe once the summer's over, maybe I won't actively wrestle again. This is meant to be my last active, you know, open-ended run, and maybe it'll turn into an active run in just a couple of federations, but even if that means I go to small feds that I have fun at, I would rather go to a small fed that I have fun at than go to a big fed that I can't stand.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Inspiring.
That's why I'm actively trying to make RCW a lot more people, because I want to be that big fed that people don't sit there and wait 3 hours for a match and have nothing more fun to do than that. I want to, you know,
Right.
I want to set a precedent and an example as just because you're big doesn't mean you got to be bored.
That's true. Alright, so here's a question from Clutch a Dragon, and this one I actually... excuse me, holy cow. Okay, from Clutch a Dragon. What are your thoughts on the RWA, and do you have any future plans for it?
Does he mean the title or the
RW... Let me think.
I assume the organization, not the
Yeah,
belt.
yeah, I think it's just the alliance, not the title.
Do I have plans for it? Yes. Do I have a definitive answer? No, I do not. I do not have set in stone plans at the moment, because Bash of the Beach is going to be a big deciding factor for me on where I want to go with the RWA, if I want to be in the RWA, and what the RWA will hold. So Bash of the Beach is going to be a big deciding factor for me and my status with the RWA. So I don't really have a definitive answer for you on how much time the Bash at the Beach is over. Not to cop out of your question there, Clutch. It just I really don't have very much of a definitive answer for you until Bash at the Beach is over.
Yeah, okay. Do you have any federations that you can answer though that you might want to add into the RWA?
There's a good handful. There's a good handful of federations that I would personally recommend, but you know, with a conglomeration of 6 federations, some of them a little more vocal than other federations are, but regardless, 6 federations, 6 votes. There is no way that I can say myself that these feds will be in, because obviously if I was the central point of the RWA, these feds would already be in. Some feds would maybe not have gotten in the past. I like the 6 that we have now. As it stands right now, I like the 6 we have. But some feds that interest me, but maybe not necessarily just to add in, well, we invited 3 big federations to partake in the main show of Bash at the Beach. Luke Cena's WWE, Trunks' RPW, and Zayn's ECW.
Sorry.
I know that one's been a very popular opinion for people. There's been a big uprising for that to
take
its place. But like I say, it's the Alliance's decision. It's not even just my decision, and it's certainly not just the community's decision. The Alliance has to agree that they want to work with him and that he has a place within. I get that there's support. I get that there is. I just want to. I guess I could take the opportunity now to address it. We get that there's support. We do hear your support. Like, don't act like we don't get on Twitter and we see, oh, RWA needs to be in there and DWF doesn't deserve it, or ECW should be in there and NGKW is terrible, and like, we see it, we trust me, we do, and every opinion matters. There's not one opinion in pro wrestling that is invalid, typically speaking, unless you really can't back it up. Then if you can't back up your opinion, then obviously not. But we love the opinion, we love the vocalization, we love to hear things about ECW and other fans like RPW and WWE, but it is not up to that. It is not. You got to think, it's not just because a lot of feds love them, because if you love them, you can go to it. It doesn't need to be a part of the RWA for you to love it.
Right, yeah. It's a type of patience type of thing. Like, you hear them, and they how do I put this in without sounding like a complete dick? You hear them, no, that sounds like a dick. Let me...
I'm sure I could word it different if you word it so offensively, so.
Okay. You hear them, they need to stop whining, is that how you... No. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's not wrong. That's not necessarily wrong at all. I would say, yes, we do hear your opinion, but just because you have an opinion does not mean that we to immediately follow it. We have to do what is in our best interest, just as you have to do what is in your best interest.
Right, yeah.
And if we can't find it in ourselves that is what we want, if we want ECW and the RWA and we feel like we can work with it, we can make this work, this is cool, then it will be. If we can think we can work with it, then it'll be in. If we don't think it has a place within, then it won't have a place within. It's really that simple.
Unfortunately, that could be a possibility.
Yes, there might possibly be a world where ECW is never in. I don't want to be negative or shut down anyone's hopes. There is a possibility that it will not have a place.
Yeah.
And that just is what it is. That doesn't stop it from succeeding. That doesn't stop it from being the federation that it is and has for years proven it can be. But no federation is guaranteed.
Fingers
no federation
crossed, though.
is...
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, though.
No, for sure. And fingers crossed for the rest of them, too, because I quite like all 3 of them. WWE, RPW, and ECW. I'm a huge fan of all 3, but my vote only counts for one out of 6. And, you know, it's not good news if we catch y'all trying to actively persuade voters, because if we find that, that's not good news.
Right.
We've seen some of that before. Some federations have done that, and that has pretty much assured that they will never get in the RWA with some feds. So I actively endorse that you don't try to push people to vote yes for you. Just let us do what we do, and if we think you're worthy of it, then you will be worthy of it. It's pretty simple, in my opinion. If you deserve it, you deserve it, and we're A-okay saying no.
Right.
I hope that for its sake it can get that within it. You know?
Yeah, I get it though, and like personally, I don't want to sound biased, but there are a couple of federations that that do have a possibility of being in the RWA. But me personally, I feel like that would only boost their ego even more and cause it to be even more of a problem. But like, since I don't know the federation, it's not my choice. It's not my problem. It's not my dispute. None of my business. Except, I just have some opinions on it that I just don't want to. Never mind. You get it, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. For sure.
So speaking of Luke, he has a question right here for you. If you had to choose the next big fed of World Wrestling to lead World Wrestling instead of RCW, what federation would you choose?
What fed should I say? Would I say leaves? Oh,
Lead.
Oh, leads. Oh, I think you said leaves. I'm like, yeah, fuck this fed. Get rid of that ASAP, please.
REW.
No. Oh, okay, I'm not even gonna say a name on that, but next fed that leads. Aside, I mean, I guess that's pretty much. I guess that question is meant to assume that we already are. I guess is what they're assuming out of that. If I had to pick a fed to lead, other than myself, I think APRW's got its next best direction. I think it's got its pieces together. You never really know who's gonna like. There was a time back in 2016 where no one knew I would be where I am. So you never really know who's gonna play a big role in the community. So maybe we don't even know who it'll be. But if I had to take my best guess right now, I think APRW is the next thing in knowing what it's going to do.
All Pro Wrestling, All Pro Roblox Wrestling, hosted by the unstable Ken.
Yeah, he gets that a lot. No, but yeah, if someone had to lead the next self, APRW's got is the next in line to.
I've been to APRW before, and let me just tell you, it's hell to get into the arena with how long I have to wait whenever the server is full.
No, for sure. We've made suggestions to him to help fix that, and I'm hoping he's taking some of those suggestions going forward. But he will do what he does, and I will do what I do.
Okay, yeah. Especially whenever the APRW arena reaches like over 60 now.
Yeah, they've hit over 60. I know. We've tried to do that. Our luck goes. I feel like we have the same.
Right.
You know, I don't feel like it's necessarily fair to say that because they've hit more than we have, that there is more people. There's more or less equal interest both ways, in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. I think APRW would be the next thing up there. So hopefully they take some of the suggestions for even further growth in APRW, because I have already gone through some damaging loops of things that I have chosen to do that did not turn out so well. So I'm hoping he takes my suggestion to avoid this.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So since okay, hold up. I just had a brain fart there. I had something to say and then I completely forgot.
Y'all good? Y'all good?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Here's the question from Infuriated Chris. Who do you think has grown the most in RCW, and who was the best for a long time? I'm not sure that's English.
Translator.
Okay, hold up. Question for you kids. Who do you think has grown the most in RCW, and who was the best for a long time in RCW?
Who was the best for a long time? I think there's been three names, and I always refer to them super duper cliche, obviously, but three names that ring off to me as being the top for elongated periods of time. Eddie had his super long reign, Damon had his super long reign, and TM Punk. And during these reigns, it's not just about having a long, about truly representing being the best as that champion. Because we've had world heavyweight champions that have been the best. We've had RCW champions who have been the best. There's been times where the US champion was the best thing we offered. So it's not just a default that because you are this champion with this belt that you are the top guy. You gotta still earn your way as the top guy. And I think each three of them did a great job in showcasing that they were that, nothing less. So those three have got to be among the names that have been the best for long times. Who's improved a lot? I gotta say, Justice did a crazy job doing it. I always praise Justice for being really good and proving a lot of people wrong, because I will be 100% honest, and this is not meant to be an offensive comment to him one way or another. I saw absolutely no potential in him when Ken first pitched him to me. When Ken first said, hey, you should check out this Justice guy, he's a future guy. I didn't see it. I don't want to be rude to him, I don't want to offend him, and man, fuck this kid. Obviously, that's not what I'm trying to say. I didn't see the level of potential he shows today. And I think that's even better. I think that almost is better than... I think it's better that he proved himself and proved me wrong, because he's the global champion with 4 separate defenses under his belt, and he's looking no signs of... I like it better that he proved himself above and beyond what I thought he was capable of. Because he's not like a guy that I brought into my said, this guy's going to be a big deal. And he proved himself and he became a big deal in Pro Wrestling. No, he had to work so hard to prove that. He overcame a lot of shit. He had, I think, maybe the best RWA championship match we have ever had between him and Clutcha at Spring Stampede. I don't think there has ever been a better defense for the belt. 5 to 4. And if you watched the closer, it is heartbreaking to see Justice lose by like 10 HP to Clutcha, and it's almost like that could have been the end of it. So if I had to say one name that improved a lot, especially through adversity, I think Justice is probably one of the names that fits that criteria better than most.
How about that guy, Swift Rider?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah, for sure. Oh shoot. Well, that's what I was gonna say. There's a lot. That's why I said you would fit that criteria. Anthony Myers would fit. Sam has fit that criteria countless times. There's a lot of guys. I chose to just name that one, but of course there's countless guys that have done fantastic. You did the De Niro Dynasty. I particularly say Tyson Virgo and Parker.
Right.
You have done that. Raheem has done that. MG Styles has done that. There's been so many names that have done that. I just chose to say Justice that one time, of course. And I think it goes without saying, there is so many people like, and you fit that criteria as well from your narrow failed run in Outbreak where you couldn't quite capture that championship. Now you're the United States #1 contender looking to capture that belt off Raheem.
I wouldn't say narrow. I wouldn't say narrow. Come on, be honest with me. I got smashed down there.
We're trying to build you here. We're trying to help you here. We're trying to make you look strong. Okay?
Yeah.
5-4 -3. 5-4 -3. I liked that score. That was good. Yeah. When I say 5 to 4 to 3, that last one's a minus. Yeah, I think you get what I'm saying here.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yes, for sure. All right.
Okay.
Fair play.
So speaking of Outbreak, who are you excited to bring up from the Outbreak roster onto the main roster?
Who am I excited? Just a little. Okay, yeah, I know I've gone on about almost the question, and it probably diverts from the question. But if I had one thing I want to add in before call up, to anyone who's trying to get ranked up to the main roster, please understand I actually do have to negotiate with TAMS about these call ups. When I get a call up, I actually have to say, hey, I'd like this guy, and he says, oh no, you can't have that guy. Okay, can I have this guy? Yeah, sure, we're not doing anything with him. You can have that guy. Like, it's a real... It's usually simple. It's not that big a negotiation, but it is a real negotiation. So he decides when these guys are called up. Some guys that I'm excited for, gotta be... I like the idea of Twisted K coming up.
Ooh.
He's sort of served his purpose in Outbreak, and whenever TAMS decides that he's good, I'd like to see Twisted K up here. I would like to see... I'd like to see what Tyler Rogers, as weird as it seems, offers... Hopefully TDL, because I've seen his work with DB Tech and stuff. I'd like to see what he can offer with that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have an unpopular opinion about him, but sincerely speaking, I would like to see that. Naman Cena might be interesting. He would be interesting. I sang a few names, and then I got one in particular that I am excited for, almost above all else. I can't wait to see Credo. I cannot wait to see all the tag teams that he's got. All 3 of my new frontiers, Zor McIntyre, Faded Owens, Faded Souls, and Ridge Dillian, but I think the top guy that I am personally excited to see, and it may be soon, maybe a while, I want to see EJ Cole on the main roster.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
kind of dominance.
I thought you were gonna say Cole Owens.
That's also a big one I'm excited for, but I feel like he's still got his time on Outbreak for at least a little while before we make that official call-up.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, Cole is a big one I'm excited for, so I didn't list a bunch of names, but I think the top guy, almost unwaveringly, has got to be EJ Cole. I'm excited as hell to see what that offers.
That's not even how you say his name. Here, say it with me. Okay, ready? EJ Cole, baby. That's how you say it.
Okay, fair play, fair play. You got me.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you say it.
All right, we're gonna do it on 3. You and me, we'll do it on 3.
Okay, ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3. EJ Cole, baby. There we go.
Right,
good job.
Fair play. All right. I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. I think honestly, fantastic, and I am nothing but excited to see these guys come up. That's just me.
Yeah, man. All right. As we're nearing the end of the podcast, with an hour and 34 minutes now, with still 25 people watching, how many more RCW Manias before you officially put the rest on Roblox Championship Wrestling for good?
How many more? God, that's a lingering question. I almost want to go off and purely say, and this is nothing, because I've always had mentalities where I'm like, okay, damn, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And every Fed owner goes through it where they say, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to Fed owner. But sincerely speaking, probably one more.
One more. RCW Mania 6.
It sounds like an RWU wannabe pop-up.
Oh God.
I say probably one more, and there's a goal I want to hit for that, but there's no way if no one will do it. I don't know if it'll be. I don't know when that Mania will be. That's the thing. You always got to be on the lookout. I will make it very clear, and I don't intend to be one of those feds that says, "Oh, the Fed's over." Nah, just kidding. I'm back. I want more. When I say it's done, I intend to keep it done. I don't want to come back for another run, not for the sake of not for the mentality that I don't like being here. I mean for the mentality that I want to get everything I can out. Active federation that doesn't constantly say I'm ending or doesn't end for publicity. When I'm done, I'm done. I might have some things where wrestling wise, but as a Fed, when I've announced that it's done, I am done. Not meant to be, disappointing to anyone. When it's over, and I don't intend to dwell on that any more than it's needed.
Oof. That certainly is unfortunate news. RCW is my favorite Fed. So
I hope that many people can get that same joy out of it that you do. And I hope that in the months, weeks leading up to its close, I hope everyone enjoys the most out of it while it can, because I think a lot of people say this. A lot of people say this quote, but this quote pertains particularly. You don't know what you have until it's gone. You don't know how good you have it until it's gone. So I'm hoping that everyone can enjoy everything they can out of it while it still exists. And I don't want any regrets from people when it ends. I don't want anyone to say, damn, I wish I did this. Damn, I wish I did that. If you're not active in RCW now, it's an open invite to come on down. Whether you're Outbreak or you're straight to the main roster, whatever the hell it is, whatever we negotiate out of you. And, I mean, shit. I really do hope that whoever comes gets the most out of it, because I want the most positive send-off that we physically can, and I don't want anyone to have those regrets about not coming. So it's an open invite right now, right here today. If you want to have some involvement in RCW before it ends, come on down. We will do something for you. And
man's gonna make me cry, dude. Stop.
the tears coming out. The tears coming out. I'm bragging about and shit. Yeah, but you get the point. If you want some involvement, I endorse that you come down, and even if you don't belt, have as much fucking fun as you can, because that's really what it's a game at the end of the day, isn't it? We all log into a game. I don't understand what point we treated it more like a like a job than a game.
Yeah.
I think we need that game mentality back. I hope.
You can only hope. Fingers crossed. But none of this is confirmed, right? None of this is confirmed that it's going to end at RCW Mania 6, right?
Nothing's confirmed yet. So, I mean, I guess if you...
Okay, thank God. Over here in the
if you want to be
chat.
optimistic and think it's not going to end, then by all means, maybe it won't. Maybe it will. So, shit, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I got more in go pump. But I would hope that at least one more Mania. I can confirm that there will be a Mania 6.
Okay.
Promise every single one of you are here right now live on air. There will be a Mania 6.
At least.
No matter what.
At least until Mania 6, right?
Yes, there will at least be a Mania 6.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that we got bigger things that almost makes it so that it feels like we've already had a Mania. SummerSlam feels like Mania 6. I swear to God.
There it is again.
That phone sucks ass.
I was waiting for that.
You gotta rest in peace, home phones. I know most people ain't got them, but shit.
Oh, I got a home phone downstairs, so.
I think, yeah, some people do, some people don't, but fuck, it's annoying. Yes, but I'm hoping that we can start making more events that feel like Mania, as opposed to just waiting for Mania, you know? You dig?
Yeah.
I hope there's more in the ways of good events than worrying about what there's a Mania.
Would you get out of my room?
This man's having trouble. He's having trouble.
Do not laugh at me.
For sure.
Stop! Alright, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I will slap the crap out of you.
He's gonna slap the crap out of him. You better watch out, buddy.
Alright, anyways. So, what are some matches, here we go, from the Almond Teen Dream Experience. What are some matches you're excited to see at Outbreak Title Night?
The card is always so small and always so reserved that it's weird to say, and it's, oh god, I want to see what everything comes out to be. Fuck, I hate answering that questions when they end up being like a cop-out answer. It always feels like I'm just being lazy and, oh, you just want to answer your favorites. But like, there's so many matches I'm actually excited for. Like that tag match. I know I'm a Teen Dream for it, and it'd be weird to just say his answer and his answer alone, but I'm actually excited for the match because it's the first time we've ever even necessarily considered a tag team title for Outbreak, right?
Yeah.
So to see who wins the first one of those would be interesting. What else is there? I'm not necessarily the most excited for the Outbreak title match. If I had to be honest, because I mean I'm not really the booker of it. I don't have to sell myself. I'll sell myself off as excited for everything. I want to see what the end of the TV tournament looks like because Kratos been nothing short of dominant. So I want to see what comes out of that.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely excited, and I'm not to self-plug, but I'm excited for what Cole and I can put on because we put a shit ton of effort into the feud. I hope for nothing less out of him.
I remember.
Even if he is going to lose, I still.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember him in my DMs. He kept asking, like, he kept telling me, dude, I'm really excited for me and Kids to finally feud. I don't know when it's gonna happen. And I kept telling him, dude, he's gonna put you over. It's RCW. He's gonna put you over. And then he's like, nah, man, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him personally. I want it to be a fair match. And I'm like, okay, man, good luck on that. And now here y'all are already in a feud, and it's just like electric. It's unreal.
I think for sure, yeah. No, there's not gonna be. I get a lot of people got that about the thing. I'm gonna put him over. I'm not planning to put him over, and that's as serious as could be. There is no point in putting him over because he is not someone that needs to be protected. He is not someone. I'm perfectly aware of the danger that I'm getting in this match. I'm perfectly aware of the actual feasible possibility that I could lose. I get that in character I'm supposed to be kayfabe and all that, but I'm aware there is a real risk at losing. There is a real possibility that he will defeat. But I won't let that happen. I mean that seriously, and I mean that 100%. I will not have him defeat me if I can control it. He will not win this match. If he's not good enough to prove that he can beat me, sincerely and otherwise, then I see no point in him going for the belt. I have him no point in him being the top name of Outbreak if he can't do the job.
Ooh.
And if he can't get the job done against me, of all people, me, old, rusty me, then good luck for his future. He is going to need every bit, because I'm training for this match. That's part of the Summer of Jericho. Every match I wrestle at Fed is preparing me. Every time I go to the gym is preparing me. And every single time I watch one of his matches is preparing me. So he better be ready for a Jericho that's never been seen before. He better be ready for a fight he's never had before. And he better be ready to lose like he's never lost before.
Oof.
Here's hoping here's hoping he's ready, even though he won't be.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Hell yes.
Alright, well, thank you, kids. That's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to have you, man. Have a good day, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, man. As for the viewers still in attendance, thank you all so much for watching this podcast. Make sure to drop a like on this video. Take that subscribe button in for a rough ride. Take care. Spike your hair. Go join our CW. And I'll see you all in the next podcast. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
You know it. I had to jump in. I had to.
Good job.